The Akatsuki, Madara said. Those in their group, save for Kazuma, couldn't believe that they would hear that word ever again. For Jiraiya, he thought about his last moments alive in his old world, being confronted by his former student, Nagato, who had been the subsequent leader of the Akatsuki, known as Pain. For Tobirama, it brought him back to the time of the Fourth Great Shinobi War, as the Akatsuki were their enemies. And for Madara, the Akatsuki had been the organization through which Tobi, also known as Obito Uchiha, enacted the will of Madara into the world. Aqua, no, Jiraiya said. I'm sorry, but who are the Akatsuki? Kazuma would ask. The Akatsuki are dangerous shinobi, Jiraiya would tell him. They were known as S-Class Nin. They were basically terrorists in our world. Dangerous, ruthless killers. They destroyed countries at a time and nearly threw the world into chaos. Hold on. You gotta be joking, right? And you're saying, Kazuma said, as a fearful look became etched across his face. You mean to tell me that Aqua gave terrorist shinobi world-ending weapons and sent them here? And not only that, but they didn't reform, but instead they're being hired by the Devil King. Chris would shake her head. It's unfortunate. Really, I try not to be a bother to Lady Aqua, but I have to say, her actions, they were reckless. Those weapons, those tools, when they're left in the wrong hands, for people who are reincarnated into this world, chaos is sure to follow. I came here to try to collect the weapons myself, but there was no way that I could. Madara started stepping out of the room. The call had been made for all adventurers and warriors to arrive to the gates, as the Devil King's army had made way. For Aqua, she were hiding off in her bed, but Madara would kick the door down, sending it flying off of its hinges as he ripped the covers off of the sheets and started dragging her out. No, you can't do it. Shut up. But Do you have any idea what you've done, Aqua? What? What's going on? It's you. You did this. You brought these monsters into this world, and you gave them powerful weapons on top of that. What in the hell were you thinking? What? But I don't... What are you... Aqua, Tobirama would say. Someone who normally stood by Aqua's side. Someone who was normally there to defend her. But even he had a look of, well, a look of pity and sorrow, along with Jiraiya. And for Kazuma, well, now this definitely took the cake. You, Mrs. Oh, look at me, I'm a goddess. I have everything under control. Yeah, you just sent terrorist ninja with powerful world-ending weapons into this world, and now they're about to attack this capital and kill everyone here. I hope you're happy, Kazuma said. But, no, all you did was sit around on your damn ass like you were the queen of the universe, Madara said. I thought that you were incompetent. I thought that you were a moron, a true buffoon. But you know what? It's my fault. I never should have dragged your sorry ass to this world. You're a poor excuse of a ruler, a poor excuse of a goddess. And if I had known that this was the mess that you would have made, I would have rather you sent my soul straight to hell. Now listen here. No! Aqua, you don't get to bark orders and play the high ground. Not with this. Do you realize what you have done? You sent people here to stop the Devil King? You have just caused more death and destruction. You would have been better off just sending everyone on their way instead of reincarnating them if this is what you call doing your job. Aqua, you are pathetic. You are the most annoying, dim-witted, attention-starving asshole that I have ever met. Truthfully, it's an embarrassment to the gods that you even claim to be one. But I didn't. It doesn't matter what you meant to do or what you didn't mean to do. You don't get behind crocodile tears. Tell that to all the people who are going to die. Every one of their deaths, it's on your head. And you know what? I hope that when the time comes, I hope you go back to the heavenly realm. And you know what? I hope you do the world, the universe, a favor. Disappear and never come back, Madara said before storming out of the room. Tobirama would follow behind Madara. But I didn't. Oh no. What have I done? Iris's army and fellow adventurers would gather outside of the walls of the capital. The army of the Devil King, consisting of various demons, gargoyles, and kobolds, all gathered together to fight against their forces. Jiraiya would send out those who he could to help, that being his summoning toads. Even for Aqua, who was, less than enthusiastic about standing onto the battlefield, knew that she couldn't just run away. Not this time. For each of the girls, Jiraiya would summon a toad. For Darkness, he gave her the toad that had lightning magic, Aqua, the toad with water magic, and for Megami, the toad with fire magic. Because these were summoned toads that Jiraiya had made a contract with, they weren't going to eat any of their allies, and in fact, they listened to Jiraiya's command. The girls would sit atop of them, and they would fight alongside them. With that, the battle would get underway, but for Madara and the others, they waited near the castle. Princess Iris would be watching on from her high tower, watching the fighting that descended down below. For Iris, she hated that she couldn't do more. Every time there was an attack, it always fell on her shoulders. Her mother and father, the king and queen, were far off in the war against the Devil King. Her brother, a soldier in the war, also gone. The capital was now under her protection. She had tough decisions that had to be made. Each decision with the weight of the world on her shoulders. As for Deidara, along with his fellow Akatsuki, they flew overhead, looking down upon the capital itself, as Deidara would scope through everything. Out of the 4, only 3 of them had special magical items. The 4th, Hidan, forsook using any type of weapon, because in his eyes, he worshipped Jashin, so he had nothing to fear. No weapon formed against him would ever prosper. But the others, they took advantage of what that goddess had given them. For Deidara, he had the Evil Eye Monocle. It was a monocle glass that he wore over his left eye, similar to the contraption that he used in his old life. The monocle was capable of being immune to all illusion magic and seeing through tricks. Also, when wearing the monocle, anyone that he saw with that monocle specifically, if he launched an attack at them, it was guaranteed to hit. And finally, it just made his perception skills tenfold, making him a much better marksman and fighter. For sorcery, he was given the tool, the Puppet King's Body. This was straightforward. Long ago, there was an evil king who had a fondness for puppets, so much so that he used the wood from a cursed tree and made himself a body, a puppet body. Deidara could tell that sorcery felt especially close to the Puppet King in his story. After reading him up thoroughly, sorcery made his choice. He would take the Puppet King's body, which effectively just made him who he was. Only now, he was a lot stronger, he was immune to all elemental magic, and he could turn others into puppets, while being a puppet himself. And then there was Kakuzu, who had the Infinity Pouch, a knapsack that could store an infinite amount of objects in a pocket dimension that never filled up, something that was to match his endless greed. But he didn't just store money in that pouch. He stored hearts. Plenty of hearts. Flying on the clay-winged creature, a clay dragon descended upon the capital. As Deidara looked down with his monocle, making sure to get a good look at all those tall, pretty buildings. Alright, my main men. It looks like the castle's just up ahead. We already know the drill. Extract Princess Iris and return her to the custody of the Devil King. And lay waste to the capital. So, that means no survivors this time, Hidan said. Yep, we get to blow this place to smithereens. And for me, for a place as splendid as this, I'm gonna carve out the perfect explosion. I've been working on my explosion magic, and I've got something saved up just for this place. Time to bust out the red clay. I'm going to carve my own form of art. The capital will likely have powerful fighters here. Fighters that I can add to my collection. Forget all of that. The only thing that matters right now, Kakuzu said, is making sure that we get as much loot from this place as possible. Do you know how much they've got to have inside of that castle? We're talking about royalty. We're talking about stacks of money. We're talking about packs of money. We're talking about racks of money. And don't you ever think about anything else but the almighty dollar, Hidan said. No. No matter what the world, the only thing you can depend on is money. Yeah, well, that's all well and good. But before we can really get into it, we gotta make sure we get the princess safe and sound. You're gonna stuff her inside of that knapsack so she can't escape. Then, we lay waste to this dump and we get out of here. The clay dragon would descend upon the castle. The guards standing outside would attempt to fight off against this ferocious creature, but the explosions would give way to their location. And it wasn't like they were trying to be subtle either. Claire, along with Rain, would immediately attempt to move Iris to a more secure place in the castle. Iris didn't want to leave her guards to their fate, but Claire would insist. I'm sorry, my lady, but you can't stay to fight against these foes. Your safety is our top priority. But they're my people. I can't leave them. Milady, you must understand. If you stay and if you die, then it will all be for nothing. Your people need someone to look after them. Please. Fine. The three of them would make their way through the castle, as the four Akatsuki would begin their ascent. They came to an open pathway within the center of the castle. It was an open-air venue, surrounded. As they made their way out, the light of the full moon shined upon them, as a howling cry could be heard in the distance. Now, princess, Datara would say. Just where do you think you're going? I've got my eye right on you. Stand back, Claire said as she drew her sword. You will not harm the princess. You will... She watched as from the shadows, puppet bodies of former guards and friends would begin to step forward, the blood running down the joints of the puppets, their eyes that looked as though they were still pleading with life. Please, kill me. Make it stop. Somebody help. No, please. Yes. Tonight is a glorious night. I send souls to Lord Jashin. Tonight, he will have a banquet of death. Before we get started, I need to know where the treasure is. Claire, Rain, and Iris were surrounded. The Akatsuki have found them. Even in another world, you're still causing trouble. But then again, that's to be expected. It's not like you were ever good for much else, a booming voice said over them. I know that voice. Toby? Is that... No, it's not Toby. Madara Uchiha. Or is it Toby? I don't know. Last time I remember, Datara said, I was a zombie being brought back to life. Yeah, that orange masked son of a bitch really had us all fooled, huh? Thinking that we would do your bidding, Kakazu said. It doesn't matter who he is. We're under new rules now, Hidan said. So, Kakazu, another voice rung out. Wait, I know that voice. Tobirama. So you remember me? You know, if there's one thing I never liked in my old life, there was this pesky rumor going around in the Hidden Leaf Village about this famed battle that you had with my brother. You know, word is you had a pretty engaging duel with him, but from where I'm standing, I doubt you were much of a challenge. I doubt he even had to pull out a kunai to deal with you. I wouldn't be bragging so highly if I were you, Tobirama. After all, I'm very much aware about how you died, giving your life for your pesky students. In the middle of a war, you were killed by Kinkaku and Ginkaku, the gold and silver brothers. Every time you encountered them, you constantly were on the defensive and you ran. So much for being a legendary shinobi, the famed brother of Hashirama, who could never escape his shadows. And even worse, in the middle of a war, you got yourself killed. I survived. I outlived all of you. That's true, Tobirama said. You outlived all of us. And yet you know what's funny? I bet right now no one even remembers your name. So, you're the famed Hidan, huh? Huh? So you know about me? Hidan said with a grin to Jiraiya. Yeah, I do. It was short, but I heard a lot about what you did in the Land of Fire. You killed my master's son, Jiraiya said. Your master's son? If anything, I liberated his soul. He was going to be a father. Aw. It's a shame I didn't come across the mother and child. I could have given them salvation as well. You make me sick. I've seen what you've done. You disgust me. You're no shinobi. You're not even a man. You're nothing but a psychopath. A zealot that worships a dead god. And no matter what you think you are nothing but a man. And you will die again. Kazuma looked around. I don't really have anything special to say, but, I stand with these guys, and I'm not going to let you harm Princess Iris. Big brother, you're here. Kazuma? Kazuma gave them a thumbs up. Everything's gonna be alright, Iris. I promise you. I'm not gonna let anything bad happen. These jerks are going down. I don't know what pit in hell you crawled out of, but we're gonna make sure that you wish you never came back. You're gonna die here and now, Akatsuki, and we're taking back those sacred treasures. Is that a fact? This one is a brash individual, Sasori said. But Deidara, I think I'll take a note from your playbook. You know, in my travels in this world, I've come across many powerful people. Among them, there was a group that was particularly interesting. I wondered what they would be like once I crafted them in my image. So now, I think I'll give you a demonstration, and I will enlighten you with my art, Sasori said. He unsealed a scroll, and from out of it, 3 puppets would appear. At first, Kazuma was a little unsettled by how creepy they were, until their heads jolted up, and he saw their eyes. They were crimson red. What the hell? No. Those people. Kazuma began to shake. Those are crimson demons. You. Yes. Powerful they are. Although they're rather rash, I must say. They're the type that I like to collect the most. I get a lot out of transforming them. Say, you wouldn't happen to know where I could find any, do you? Shut the hell up. You're gonna pay for what you did, Sasori. You had the nerve to show that to my face. My face. Kazuma, Madara said. Get a hold of yourself. Fuck that. You know what I see? I see a whole bunch of freaking losers. A whole bunch of losers who picked the wrong place to run up. I hope you've had your fun, all of you. Puppet, Stitch Face, Cult Zombie What's-Its-Face, and you, fake-ass Monopoly man with a bad ponytail. I am going to kick your ass. Deidara smirked as all 4 of them stood together. You got a lot of heart, kid. What's your name? Kazuma Sato. Well, Madara, Tobirama, Jiraiya, Kazuma. Deidara focused his monocle as it began to glow. Both of his hands raised as the mouths began to spew out clay-like monstrosities. I think that playtime's over. You say you want to kick our ass. Well, give it your best shot. And make it count. 'Cause after all, art is an explosion. Get back! Madara would push them all away. A large explosion ringing out in the middle of the castle, as now the capital of Axel found itself under siege. This concludes Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba, Season 3, Part 5. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned next time as we continue with Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba, Season 3, Part 6. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.